What is up? What is up? Quick little abbreviated live stream tonight before the doubleheader. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars, Buffalo Bills. We got the Cincinnati Bengals and Washington Commanders. Should be a fun little duo slate of games here. It should be an interesting thing. I'm excited to just see the Bengals offense hopefully look like what we want to see the Bengals offense look like. And this Jags Bills game should be really interesting.
We forgot to sync up the site.
Yeah, it's fine. We only got like a question or two, and they're probably for next week anyways,
Okay.
I would imagine, right?
Just making sure.
Anyways.
Yeah, so I see Dalton say, yeah, we ran a little bit late. There was something flared up, but we're good.
Yeah, no. What Danny's referring to is there was a whole hoopla discussion about a trade that Danny made in the Flock League today, where he, let's call a spade. He fleeced a dev for Jonathan Brooks. Danny's arguing, of course, that Rico Dowdle is very useful for this devs roster. And I am 100% on Danny's side of this, is that I don't believe that trades are vetoable, especially one that it's like it debatably could go the devs way. So if you can make the debate that it could go the other person's way or that it helps them, it's not a vetoable trade. But there's a whole hoopla going on. So in the Flock League chat right now.
For context, basically I traded Rico Dowdle and basically $56 fab to a team that started Samaje Perine and Zamir White last week and has no startable depth. Traded him $56 fab plus Rico Dowdle, who, if you guys aren't familiar with Rico Dowdle, oh yeah, I know he's been terrible, right? Despite getting terrible production, according to a lot of people in this fucking league, the guy is literally the RB34 on the season, top 26 running back in each of the last 2 weeks. And what's the common denominator for the Cowboys each of the last 2 weeks? They were getting boat raced in both of those games. They were down 20 plus points this week. They were down 15 plus points last week. And the running backs was still giving you a top 26 production. Again, I'm not arguing that I would rather have Jonathan Brooks, but for an 0-3 fucking team to go and trade for Rico Dowdle plus fab, why are we acting like that's all of a sudden fucking the worst deal you've ever seen in your life? Like Rico Dowdle literally this week got over 50% of the carries for the team. And they're playing the Giants this week. Road favorites, 4.5.
Again, I come down on it on the side of you bent him over a table. It's a better deal for you, but it's a plausible outcome that it could work out for him if he gets some wins out of it. So that's why it's not a vetoable deal. And I think the idea that it would be veto, the only argument the other people in our league are making is that he's a dev. He's not a creator.
And I'm fine with that. But also at the same time, they are a lot lower on Dowdle than I am, for the record. I have Dowdle as my RB31 rest of the season and Brooks as my RB23. Yes, I prefer Brooks. Yes, I know he has higher upside. But it is an 0-3 team that has no depth who put up 53 points in his starting lineup this week. Why are we acting like Rico Dowdle and $56 fab when Carson Steele went for 37 this past week is completely out of the fucking realm? Like, that's what bothers me.
Yeah,
like,
no, and I agree with you. Like, it does help him. And I think he still got, you also traded him Thielen in the deal too. And
I traded him Thielen.
He's going to be out for a couple of weeks, but he might be functional once he comes back. Anyways, Ethan's asking us for picks, so I'll give him some picks here.
I got a little heated if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, Danny got a little heated because, again, I don't disagree with you, Danny. I don't think it's a vetoable deal. I'd be heated too. Chase Brown, 24.5 rushing yards. I like the higher there. The most sports books have Chase Brown set for like 6 or 7 rush attempts, and he hit this total on 4 rush attempts last week. And of course, Chase Brown's a big explosive guy. He can have these big performances. Plus, the Commanders are 30th against the run. James Cook, I like the higher than 14.5 rushing attempts. He would have hit this total, I think, in like 4 of his last 6 games, dating back to last year. And the Bills, since Joe Brady took over, are 4th highest in neutral script run rate. So I like James Cook to get a lot of carries in this game. T. Higgins, higher than 3.5 receptions. Also really like that total there just because the Commanders can't stop a nosebleed with a U-Haul full of gauze. Austin Eckler,
we both thought the Eckler.
Yeah, Austin Eckler, 18.5 receiving yards. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's probably a negative game script. They're more than a touchdown underdog in this game. And Austin Eckler currently leads the Commanders in receiving yards, as you've pointed out before. And then final one there is Christian Kirk, higher than 3.5 receptions as well. I know Christian Kirk has been like total fucking ass this year, but he has the upside to catch a couple passes in a game. And not only that, like he would have hit this total 8 of 12 games last year that he played. So like he's a reception machine normally.
Hitting context about it too. Hitting context. So he hasn't been good. Don't get me wrong. And you can say, well, last week when Evan Ingram was out, he was still bad. So like Evan Ingram being out doesn't change anything. I would argue Evan Ingram getting hurt in warmups they can game plan now knowing Evan Ingram's going to be out for the
Right.
entire week to get Kirk more involved than they would Evan Ingram getting hurt in warm up. So I wouldn't necessarily say, well, because Christian Kirk was worthless last week without Evan Ingram, he's going to be worthless again. Like, no, like teams adapt. If they know they're going to be out without Evan Ingram, we could see a lot more design looks for Christian Kirk.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that as well. And before you give your picks, Danny, just a shout out, new customers, they have this Burrow free pick'em right now, and there is a boost promo in your pick'em lobby for those of you guys that have underdog accounts already, where you can add a boosted profit thing there, and you can see with my entry, normally this would be 5 picks for $200. That's how much a 5 pick'em pays out, but it's $219 because of that profit booster. So hopefully, we can get a nice win here. This would be like a 22x of the money. So that would be a nice one. And then Danny's picks are right here. You guys can see the Eckler ones in there too.
Yeah, so they've added the first quarter receiving yards, and honestly, I've actually been getting good luck with these so far.
Same.
3.5 first quarter receiving yards for Ryan Thomas. I mean, the guy's averaging 70.5 receiving yards per game in the first 2. We know he can, on any single target, not only get past 3.5, but take one to the house. So 3.5, I mean, that you're literally just banking on one target he catches, and I mean, knowing where Brian Thomas is running the majority of his routes, it's going to be past 3.5 yards. So we like that. Like you said, Austin Eckler, higher 18.5 receiving yards. Have mentioned this stat. He's currently leading the team in terms of receiving yards on the year. And in fact, I believe the first 3 players on the team are running backs and tight ends leading this team in receiving. So that's been the game plan. Again, I do anticipate they potentially work some more boundary shots moving forward. But at the same time, Austin Eckler, even though he's not a good rusher, we know he can still contribute in the passing game. And then finally, T. Higgins, higher 8.05 fantasy points. Not much else to say other than the fact that the Commanders are literally the worst team at stopping opposing wide receivers in terms of fantasy production.
Yeah, they're literally dead last. And I mean, Higgins is a big guy. He can catch a touchdown and hit that fantasy point total pretty easily. I think everybody, I wonder what the panic would be this week if the Bengals don't boat race the Commanders. Like, what if the Bengals have win this game 16-10 or something? Like, how are the Jamar Chase, T. Higgins managers and Joe Burrow managers really panicking? That would be an interesting development if that happens tonight.
Yeah, for sure. We do have a couple supers here.
I just want to address this really quickly, just because Dylan said Corey's praying on Higgins to go nuclear in the home league. Yeah, so in my home league, I'm currently down, I think, about 22 points, and I have T. Higgins to go. For what it's worth, 22 points doesn't sound like a shit, or it sounds like a shit ton for T. Higgins, but my league has big play bonuses. Like, it has it's full PPR. There's a good chance that T. Higgins could have a big game, just given the matchup. So 22 points for T. Higgins. He is playing Zach Ertz, but again, Zach Ertz kind of hit or miss. Even if Zach Ertz gives 7-8 points, I think a 30 bomb out of T. Higgins. I just need realistically a long touchdown and then a bunch of catches. So again, it's probably not looking great. I'm probably a 5-10% chance of winning. But I had a Monday Night Miracle last week as well. For those of you guys that were paying attention, I in my home league, I was down 8 points or whatever going into that last drive of the game, and Drake London's touchdown won me the matchup. So
hey, there you go. I mean, what's your record in your home league now?
It's going to be 1-2 most likely after this week. But if I win tonight, it would be 2-1.
Yeah, unfortunately, in my home league, if you guys are unfamiliar with the team, we've been hit by the injury bug. We drafted Jordan Love, had to drop him because he was out. I had to pick up a quarterback to actually play in my lineup, because when you look at the rest of the team, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, David Njoku. And I know I drafted him hurt, but at the same time, have not been able to use the draft pick because he's been on the pup. Jonathan Brooks. Yeah. I have 5 of my first 9 picks unavailable for my team. It's been fucking rough.
Yeah, my home league team had Higgins, who hasn't played until this week, has David Njoku also, who's been injured, and I also drafted Jonathan Brooks as well. So I had a couple injuries hit me too.
So I have to address this. So we see Domain, Danny ruins the flock. You can zoom in earlier in the stream. I think it's the biggest load of fucking crap that I've ever heard, that is a vetoable trade. I digress. People are literally fucking getting back. I mean, honestly, bar for bar, the Jefferson deal fucking is way worse than my deal.
I don't know, dude. Kyron had 3 touchdowns this week.
I mean, fucking long term. Are you taking Kyron or are you taking Jefferson? And
yes,
but it looks like Pittman's going to be a good.
His deal is more debatable,
sure.
And it was
Jefferson's the wide receiver to rest of the season.
What Avery is about to type right now is I traded for Jefferson, and he also traded with a creator, not a dev. I'm guessing is what he's going to argue.
Whatever helps you guys sleep at night.
Anyways, let's get to the supers here.
Hey, Avery, I love you, but nothing grinds my gears more than when I'm fucking doing rankings. I'm like, maybe I might check my phone. See 20 billion notifications in the Flock League accusing me of having a vetoable deal. And this is what I was referencing earlier. I'll just show it again. I don't know why it's not showing on the screen right now. Let me like that. Yeah, like this view. Is that what we do? What's the normal view we do? Yeah, you got it.
We
Okay.
can move us up here.
So the guy that finished as the RB26 and RB25 in back-to-back weeks in completely bloated game scripts for the pass for the Cowboys, being down 15 plus points in each of these last 2 weeks. The guy who got 53% of the rushing attempts for the Cowboys and literally got 5 targets in each of the last 2 games. He's completely worthless. Like that's what I don't get.
Yeah. So this was formerly Jared, but the reason being a developer has something to do with it is because the developer specifically that Danny made the trade with has never played fantasy before. That's why people have a problem with the trade. And this was my attitude, Spicy. Everybody else was like, oh my God, vetoable trade. Mine was like, God damn, I wish I would have made this move. That was me. That was my attitude towards it. I don't think Danny did really anything wrong. I would have probably done the same thing.
For reference, by the way,
better deal, but
for reference, so
yeah,
Dowdle had 9.9, 8.6 in these last 2 weeks. The 2 guys that were in his lineup this week, 3.4 fantasy points from Zamir White and 7 PPR points from Samaje Perine.
Yeah, I mean, Rico Dowdle is an upgrade on those players. Like, people who want to argue otherwise, like, again, Jonathan Brooks, he should have went for more. And an experienced fantasy player would have wanted more for Jonathan Brooks. And that's probably inarguable. And that's most of the other creators' point about how Danny fleeced him. But at the same time, Rico Dowdle is better than his current running backs. So it does actually kind of help his team a little bit.
By a country mile, too. Also, like I said, again, last thing I will say, because, like, sorry, Avery brought it up. I have to fucking rehash it. But why are we acting like 56 fab dollars literally doesn't give them all the control of the waiver wire moving forward?
Yeah, everybody was quick to point out that I gave up way too much fab in the deal that I made for Ayuk. They're like, 30 fab is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Sorry.
I got fleeced. I got fleeced, though, so we're fine. All right.
Yeah, I hope Dowdle is an RB1 next week so people could shut up.
Yeah, it would be funny if he was. Is Pacheco a drop after Nathan's new vid? What happened to Pacheco?
I don't know.
Dalton, you're gonna have to educate me on this. I have not seen this.
Love you too, Domain. Love you, Avery.
Carlos said
so
here.
Real quick, D-Bell, it was initially 30 fab. I literally gave him the extra 26% fab so people could just shut up. Literally.
Yeah, I can vouch that Danny just sent him the extra 20 fab because everyone was crying in the chat. Carlos, hey boys, is it time to panic on Kyle Pitts? I mean, panic how? He's performing just like every other elite tight end right now. Yeah, so
in fact, he's been better. And I would say going forward, I mean, where do you have Pitts rest of the season? Because that was the one I was like debating, like with my rest of season tight ends. I don't think you can have him outside of the top 5.
So this might be a stupid fucking takeaway.
Depending on Laporta's health. If Laporta is expected back early, I think he becomes 6. But like that is the caveat.
This might be the stupidest takeaway of all time, but all the elite tight ends have been so bad to the point that I almost don't want to move any of them. Like they all stay where they are. Like other than Bowers, obviously. Bowers has been good enough that you have to move him up the rankings. But
he's won with McBride's concussion.
I wouldn't take him over. If you gun to my head, I would not take Brock Bowers over Trey McBride.
Knowing McBride could miss at least 2 weeks with concussion.
I again, call this copium all you want. Call this bag defending. I would still rather have Travis Kelce than Brock Bowers.
You are insane for that. No. We're not letting you slide with the Kelce over Bowers at this point. Kelce, maybe if he still moved like Bowers, you'd have an argument, but he doesn't.
I mean, Mahomes came out and said that they're literally double and triple covering his ass.
Yeah, I don't know.
I tend to think that Kelce's going to bounce back this week against the Chargers. He basically is a part owner in that franchise. He's probably going to have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I mean, he very well could, but what Bowers is doing is fucking unprecedented.
Yeah, he's been great, and I'm on an island with that take. I recognize that. Time to panic on Kyle Pitts.
Real quick on tight end.
Anthony Richardson. Yes, I would.
I need to make this point on tight end though. There is one of the preseason top 6 that has fallen out of my top 6 and fell more so to
Anders.
Yeah, where do you have him?
So I haven't updated my rankings as of this week, but I had him at 8 coming into the week.
I moved him down to 9. The biggest difference is So my top 10 right now, knowing that David Njoku is still going to be out, because I think when David Njoku comes back, he will work into this top 10 over at least
I think he'll be
Goddard and
back this
possibly
week, and I
Andrews.
would rather have him even if
Yeah.
he misses another game than Andrews.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Also, Kincaid could be on the brink of this too. Like, he's been shit so far this year, and if he doesn't have a good game tonight, like, he's got to be flying down the rankings too.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The one that I was actually having the biggest discussion point between, where would you rank Jake Ferguson? Because I think there's no way he's past 7 or 8. I don't think you can rank him lower than that. He's the number 2 weapon on the Dallas Cowboys offense.
Yeah, I would.
There's no way we can take him Andrews over him at this point.
There's no way. I don't think you can take Andrews over him at this point.
I think Kincaid is reasonable.
I think it's still reasonable to say, like, Andrews, Ferguson, Kincaid, they're all kind of like we'll have to wait and see on these guys right now.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing, crazy. Right? Yeah, I seen that tweet. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
I also wait. Yeah, so that was one. I mean, we could just go to chat because I'm sure something will.
Anyways, let's get to these fucking supers. We've been letting these. We've been ranting for most of this time. I got to Carlos's question here. The second part of it is, should I trade for Daniels? He said.
Trade AR for Daniels straight up.
Yeah, I would rather have Daniels than AR straight up right now.
Where do you
the
have?
tough thing though is, like, I think
Richardson the rest of the season.
I have to update my rankings after this week, but coming into the week, I had him at 7 and I had Daniels at 8, and that at the very least, those guys will flip flop. And Burrow is immediately behind them. And if Burrow has a monster game and looks like Burrow today, I'll probably move him ahead of him too. And you could definitely make the argument for a lot of other guys, Dak and Purdy, and fucking Geno's playing really well right now. Like, there's a lot of guys you can make arguments for.
Richardson or Love?
Richardson, but I'm still going to trust the rushing floor to some degree over, Baker Mayfield or something. Like, I like Baker obviously, but like, I still think even in bad matchups, Richardson is a roll of the dice that can score you 30 fantasy points, no problem.
Richardson or Love rest of the season?
I would rather have Jordan Love. And we were having the conversation earlier about who's the best team in the NFC, and I think it will quickly become the Green Bay Packers once Jordan Love is back on the field.
It could be. I am worried about their defense against good offenses because they've beaten up on some bad ones the last 2 weeks, and when they actually got tested with a good one, they got exposed by the Eagles.
I honestly think that the offense will be so good it might not matter.
I don't disagree. Again, you knew my take on the Packers coming into this year. I thought they were the second best team to the Niners in the league.
I think
in the league in the NFC.
Seeing what Love did just in that first game, like I'm pretty ready to just crown him.
Yeah.
As potentially going on a huge run here. If you guys can still buy Love, like, I would imagine he'll be back this week. Any one of the Green Bay Packers players are buys for me right now. And that includes Jacobs, because Jacobs had a game where Emmanuel Wilson, like, and him split the backfield. And I definitely think that that's not going to continue going forward.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Devontae for ETN, Hero RB with HN. I already have Lamb, Marvin, Collins, Higgins. Jeez,
let me check my overalls, because I think I have ETN one spot higher than Devontae Smith.
I think, especially given your team's construction, you have to go with ETN there.
If Devontae Smith didn't have the concussion concerns at this point, I think I would need a little plus on ETN. But knowing he has the concussion concerns, I'm fine with this transition, because there could be negative news tomorrow that he's expected to miss 2 weeks with concussion, because he got hit in the back of the head pretty damn hard.
Yeah, I think I would also potentially try and see if you can buy low on, like, if James Cook has a bad night tonight or whatever, like, I would maybe want a slightly better running back if I can get to one using Devontae Smith. But I feel pretty comfortable with that deal, especially knowing that, I mean, you're probably starting like fucking Rico Dowdle or something at running back too in a Devon Achane Hero RB with that type of receiver core.
I have to. Oh yeah, Smith has a week 5 bye. I think that's a good point. Shane Quan Barkley said at the bottom there. So
yeah, there's a very good chance that he'll be out this week then if they have a week 5 bye, and also just that's a regular concussion timeline too.
So you might call me faded for this, because again, you haven't done your rest of seasons. I did my top 200 or 200. I did my top 100. I'm going to plan to do my top 200. I had a couple like pretty decisive changes in the top 15. Pretty decisive.
Your rest of seasons or your dynasties?
Yes,
sorry,
my rest of seasons. My dynasties, you know that I posted in my trade value chart. Can you guess the order of players I have between 15 and 8? If I tell you, actually, I'll just let you guess. Who do you think I have at 15? Like, what range do you think I got?
15?
15 overall.
Okay, let's find somebody on Danny's Flock League team.
Oh, it's not on mine. That's the hint. You might be
Okay.
looking at the owner of him.
Me?
Yeah.
Who the hell do I have that's really good? Is it
I
Garrett?
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Garrett.
Yeah, I see. I have Garrett at 12.
Yeah, that's the difference. I have a couple guys higher that you're gonna find out in a second.
Yeah.
14.
I mean, I'm looking at my rankings and I would rather have Rice, so I need to flop that after this week.
14 Tyreek. I am terrified of this offense, especially now with Skylar Thompson being also hurt.
I mean, Snoop Huntley's better than Skylar Thompson.
I think both of them reek, and I'm worried about what I've seen, and I feel confident enough about the other offenses.
Skylar Huntley once had Mark Andrews as the best tight end in fantasy to close out an NFL season, so I think he can. I think he'll be. I think he's much better than Skylar Thompson, like significantly better.
It's a big difference. It's a big difference between trying to throw it to a big tight end 8 yards down the field than it is Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek's always open, so I mean,
he is, but I mean, fuck. 12, 13, Achane, Gibbs in that order. I might have to flip them though. I might prefer Gibbs just because the offense.
I had Gibbs ahead just because of the injury too.
11, Marv.
Yeah, Marvin I mean, I personally have him 16, but it's close, and I gotta move Malik up too because I have him at 18, and I'd probably have him higher than that. You probably have him at 10.
Malik Neighbors number 10.
Yeah.
Rasheed Rice number 9. Jamar Chase number 8. This is the elite range, I would say.
Nico.
So I actually have Nico at 6. I have Barkley at 7.
This is just Flock League team glaze right now.
I'm not even trying. Honest to God, I'm not even trying to glaze my team, but I do think these 4 wide receivers and these 3 running backs for me, based off what we've seen and based off what we can project, they project the best to me. Not even like accounting for my team. Because like I'm just higher on Nico to begin with, not even just because he's on my team.
Yeah, no. I have Nico. Like I have Nico at 8, so you're not going to hear me like I think he's the top 8 player if we redrafted right now.
The debate I had was between Breece, Bijan, Jefferson. I have it Breece 2, Bijan 3, Jefferson 4, but I don't know if I can have Bijan over Jefferson based off.
No, I would not. There's no way I would take Bijan over Jefferson.
I don't think so either. So
I mean, Darnold's playing. I have Jefferson at 2.
Yeah, you would take him over Breece?
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think I'm also going to make that adjustment because
I think after I make my adjustment to my rankings, though, I think I'm going to end up putting Breece 1, and I'm going to end up putting Jefferson wide receiver 1, to be honest.
Over Lamb, eh?
Yeah.
I still like how the Cowboys project rest of the season.
Those 3 players rest of the season. I think
Lamb I don't disagree. I see. That's the thing. I would still take Lamb 101. I know rest of season how good the offense projects, even if he's started slow. I get it.
I guess rest of season how the offense projects is our disconnect because I think there's a chance that they're a league average offense rather than a top 5 to 10 offense.
See, when you have Dak, you're just not going to be a league average offense. I don't think.
I mean, the Chargers were a bottom 10 offense with Justin Herbert last year, so.
I mean, Herbert was also hurt, and yeah.
But like good quarterback doesn't always equal elite offense.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair.
Johnny says safe to drop Downs, D-Rob for Leggett, Lazard, Myers. Yeah. I mean, I
wouldn't drop Downs for Lazard or D-Rob for Lazard. I wouldn't do it for Lazard. I think Mike Will's going to take over, bro.
Yeah, call me crazy, but I'm not buying this whole Lazard breakout.
Me neither, dude.
If you needed a stash, like a guy to just like hold because you don't need to start any of these guys, I would rather have Leggett and Downs on my roster than D-Rob and Downs. But if you did need someone who you need to play every week, I would just hold the 2 guys that you have. Maybe if you wanted to drop Downs for Leggett because Thielen is going to be out for the next number of weeks, according to I think George Schultz reported it today.
Bijan or Barkley rest of the season?
I'd rather have Barkley than Bijan.
I think I've gotten there.
Yeah, he's got to be over him. Like Bijan.
You're still taking Bijan over Chase and stuff, right? I am.
It depends what Chase does tonight, to be honest.
That's fair. Chase is my 8 right now. That's what I was asking.
I think I'm gonna just go ahead and go out on a limb right now and say that we're all gonna be looking at Jamar Chase a little bit differently after tonight. I think
I don't disagree.
Absolutely erupt, and we might be saying, is he the 101 rest of the season? Like I think he's gonna be that good tonight.
I mean, he could be. No matter what he does tonight, he won't be my 101 for the record.
No, but
I can see him being up to my 104. Like I can see him being.
He might just be right back to Jamar Chase status after tonight, and the Bengals, more importantly, might be right back to Bengals status. Yeah. And I think that's what's been missing with Chase the last while.
Does
Yeah,
Debo play against
Dylan's
Chase?
playing against Jamar Chase.
Oh God.
How about that tone setters trade now? DD is needed. LOL.
We
Are you
might have to
talking
do
about? Is he talking about the one that he traded Richardson on?
Yeah.
I think that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, for sure.
A couple people are with me on the Kelsey thing. Maybe I'm coping, but like I honestly am not really like I'm worried for Kelsey. Don't get me wrong. Like he's definitely got a lower ceiling than I thought he did, but I still think by the end of the season we're gonna look up and he was a top 3 tight end.
Kelsey, I mean, I could see it for sure. I'm not like completely
I still think it's gonna happen. I think that eventually that Mahomes' offense, like there's certain things that I just don't want to bet against, and it's like that Mahomes and Kelsey are just never gonna be good all year. Like I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Eventually, defenses are going to start keying in on Rice, and that's going to open things up.
Hope not.
I mean, that's probably what's happening now is that Kelsey's demanding all the attention and Rice is feasting. 2-1 in a 12-man half PPR league. Just got an offer to trade away DJ Moore and Moss for Smith. Team is okay. So DJ Moore and Zach Moss for Devontae Smith on a 2-1 team. Yeah, give me Devontae Smith there, brother. I want Devontae Smith over DJ Moore pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I do too.
Like
comfortably with the injury.
Yeah, I'd still.
Let me see where I have them ranked. I think I had DJ Moore way higher than you. Sorry, I was grabbing a screenshot.
I'd expect of all people you to be on the train of like, is DJ Moore the number 1 there still?
I mean, I still love DJ Moore, or I would still have DJ Moore right now, dude. I think both of him and Rome Odunze can eat. I think Keenan Allen's almost a nothing rest of the season, dude.
Yeah, but what happens if Keenan Allen's back on the field?
Dude, I don't think he will be for a while. He's dealing with a heel injury from the preseason. He's a 32-year-old
fair
receiver.
point. I just think Smitty's he's just such an easy projection, and I think there's so much more muddiness with Moore there. And Zach Moss, would it shock me if tonight Chase Brown is 60% of the snaps? Like I don't think his workload is so secure. Moss.
He's getting offered DJ Moore and Moss. He'll trade away DJ Moore and Moss. I'm keeping DJ Moore.
Oh, I guess he has DJ Moore.
Yeah.
I would personally just rather have the Smith side.
No way, dude. You're giving up a guy that got 82% of the snaps in Moss and a healthy receiver for a comparable receiver that could miss 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm taking DJ Moore and Moss.
The snap share thing for remember how last week I said, or before the week I was like, I think this Deontay Foreman snap share was kind of bullshit.
I agreed with you with that.
I'll be back to the snap share. That's how I feel about Zach Moss having an 82% snap share last week. I think that Chase Brown will probably be a 50-50 back this week. Maybe I'm bag defending again, but I do think that eventually he'll start to work into that backfield. I don't think Zach Moss is like secure as the number 1 dude there. Anyways, we got to answer more questions here because the game's about to start. Time to panic on Tank Dell. I mean, panic as far as like leave him on your bench, and if you have better options, for sure. Panic as in drop him or like sell him for nothing. Probably not. You're better off holding him for a little bit. But don't start him if you don't have to.
Let me bring this up too. So I think the main disconnect for you is you thought with Rome Odunze looking the way he is, I'd be worried about DJ Moore's status. Honestly, I am optimistic about this passing game moving forward, period. I thought Caleb in the second half looked a lot better. I get that the passing volume was inflated, but we saw the big plays actually connect. I have both of them like pretty aggressively ahead of market. I have DJ Moore as my wide receiver 18 rest of the season, and I have Rome Odunze 26.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's too high for both players, to be honest. I just think the offense is still enough of a question mark that both of them should be knocked down a peg.
I mean, they could be, but also Kmet had like 12 targets this week. I don't think that's going to be.
He did, but Kmet's earned targets his whole career.
But like this was the first week of him actually out snapping Gerald Everett.
Yeah,
and, like that could
Gerald
be a case
Everett
moving forward.
Sucks, and Shane Waldron realized that.
Maybe Shane Waldron also realizes should be an offense that doesn't revolve around an inconsistent ground game. And inconsistent is a polite word for it. It's downright shit.
Yeah, it is pretty bad. Q says, "Hey boys, hope you had a good week." I did not, but thanks for the sentiment. I'm down 4 points. I can start Higgins or B-Rob. He has Bills defense and Gesicki left. So I mean, the floor is B-Rob, which is kind of what you need, to be honest. But you can't if you're not starting Higgins in this matchup, you're never starting Higgins. You know what I mean?
I don't know if he needs a floor play here, to be honest, because like the Bills defense should be able to get between
5 and 8 points.
I was going to say 6 to 9 points. And then Gesicki, he's not the craziest projection, but like Gesicki's shown he at least has some spike, but like he's had a couple decent weeks, maybe 5 points.
I'd be going Higgins in either case, to be honest.
like just projecting it forward, like I think you need like 17 to 20 points. And if you're telling me somebody that can get 17 plus points, I feel confident. If this was like, oh, I need 12 points to win, put B-Rob in your lineup. But knowing you need 17 plus, unless he falls into the end zone, I think it's a pretty tough game environment for him.
Yeah, I mean he's averaging like 16 points per game. I think he's been really good, but I think Higgins has the ceiling this week for sure.
I don't disagree for the record, but also like knowing they can work in a negative game script, I'm a little bit more concerned about him getting back to a season average.
Yeah. Should I trade Malik, Demont, Brian Thomas Jr. for Saquon, Amari, and Puka? Yeah, I would.
So BTJ more or less equals
like
Amari.
Saquon's more valuable than Neighbors. I think Amari for Demont's probably a wash, and I would rather have Puka than BTJ as a 3-0 team.
I mean, I was actually going to say it like this. Even if you canceled out Malik and Saquon, you look at Amari and Puka for Demont plus BTJ. I would prefer BTJ slightly, but I think him versus Amari almost wash out. And then I would rather have Puka for the late season upside than I would Demont, assuming you're fine at running back. So yeah,
I mean he has
St. Brown,
Saquon,
so you're fine at running back.
Reed, and CMC. Yeah. Like I mean, you're 3-0, and you're gonna have CMC
start 8-2
reinforcements too. Like that's a pretty good situation to be in. Swift is probably droppable reasonably. I mean, I maybe wait one more week before you drop him. But if you had to drop him this week, I would definitely drop him for Jerome Ford. He's definitely a better bet at this point. Shakir or Brian Thomas Jr. in the flex. Sorry, we didn't get to this before kickoff, but I would have started Brian Thomas Jr. Hopefully you went in that direction.
Sure.
What do you think of my FSE redraft trade? I didn't actually see this.
I didn't see it either. Is it the
my listener redraft team is fucking absolutely disgusting, by the way. I'm 3-0. I'm wiping all you guys in points.
I mean, did you see my situation right now? How is it?
So AJ, this is the trade that AJ made. Started. He traded away Dallas Goedert right before this week, tough, and Jerome Ford for Isaiah Pacheco, Carson Steele, and Jalen Warren. So
yeah, I'm doing that every time.
You're the Chiefs' backfield until Pacheco gets back with Carson Steele.
She hit another tight end too.
Yeah, I think he had. I mean, nobody has tight ends, but
it's Kelsey. He's fine.
Yes, Kelsey. Yeah. So you agree that Kelsey's going to be fine.
Yeah, dude, I love this deal for you.
Yeah, that's a great move, man.
Because the asset, whether it's Steele or Pacheco on the field, I can comfortably say I'd rather have them forward. And although I'd prefer Goddard to Warren, you have Kelsey. So like you may as well transfer the backup tight end to the. Yeah, I love this deal for you.
Anyways, we should probably head off because the game has in fact started, and also we need to hop into a meeting to determine if Danny's giving back Jonathan Brooks. Just kidding, that's not what we're talking about. We're brainstorming ideas for the Flock League. For what it's worth, too, if you guys have any ideas that you want to see for the Flock League channel, feel free to DM us on Twitter, send them to us on Discord, comment them on this live stream. Can't talk. But yeah, we're gonna be doing a big brainstorming sesh right during this game. So feel free to send us over any ideas that you guys want to see. But yeah, appreciate you guys for joining us. Like, comment, all that good stuff. Waivers tomorrow. Dynasty trade targets by position tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. Danny, actually, once we're done talking here, I gotta mention something to you. We're gonna have a scheduling flip this week because I'm going to Maria's brother's wedding. So I'm going to have to put the running back tier list out on Friday, and I might need you to do wide receivers on Saturday and just flip the order that we do.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
If that's cool with you. Because I forgot I have to help them. I have to do a rehearsal dinner. It's out of town too. So I'm going to be gone all day Saturday and most of the day Friday. So
I'll probably stick to like my same schedule for when I do it. It's just not recorded until at least the Friday inactives of practice are out. So I get more info. That's probably how I'll do it.
Shahid dropped a 0 and Shakir is erupting right now. Fun.
Is he?
Yeah. Anyways, appreciate you guys for joining us. Take it easy. Enjoy the